Adrian.
I thought it was about time I got to know my business partner a little bit better. So we've known each other 2 or 3 years. We've been working together for most of this year.
Doesn't time fly?
It does. I've got to know you pretty well, but I think I ought to just know a little bit more about you, and I thought it'd be really nice to share that with some of our podcast friends.
Are you sure you really want to know?
Yeah, I think I do.
You sure? Well, you're either going to be pleasantly surprised or you're going to run a mile.
Okay. So you're prepared to answer every question just from the hip as you get it?
Gosh.
It's a family-friendly podcast.
Is it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Shoot.
Fully and openly. And can I just clarify that you have not seen any of these questions before?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm wearing pointy shoes, I'll have you know.
Okay. Name.
Candice.
Age? Actually, you don't need to answer that
I can
one.
answer, I don't mind.
That's the only one you don't need to answer.
I will answer age.
Okay.
42.
First really important question. Who is your favourite business partner?
Adrian Jones.
Good answer. This could have been the shortest interview going. I'll break you in gently and then maybe ask something a little bit more interesting. Curry or Chinese?
Curry.
South Africa or Dubai?
South Africa.
Why?
It's fun. It's lovely.
Dog or cat?
You didn't just ask that question.
I did just ask
I can't answer that question.
You can't
I love
answer it.
both.
You love both. That's an answer.
You're not going to press a button and I'm going to end up
No,
landing in a
that's still
pile
an
of
answer.
water. Okay.
Ant or deck?
I mean, I guess I'll have to say ant.
You don't know which is which.
I
do you?
don't.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Flying.
Flying, interesting. If you could click your fingers right now and be anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I would go to see my nieces and my nephews in the UAE.
Interesting answer that you thought about people, not a place.
It's a place and it's a people.
But you thought about the people first. Interesting. I like that. Where were you on 9/11 when it happened?
I was teaching horse riding. It was a very, very hot day in Cape Town. And at the time, I was 20 years old when we heard the news. It was midday in South Africa when, no. It was about 3 or 4 p.m. in South Africa when we heard the news. That's right. Very hot day, indeed.
What did you do for the rest of the day after hearing about it?
Oh, we were all in shock. I remember calling around because there was friends that had family members who was working in the Twin Towers at the time. It was a very depressing day.
Strange day.
Very
day in
strange.
our lives.
Very odd.
Won't all be that serious. Romantic comedy or Hitchcock thriller?
Romantic comedy every time.
Which is your favourite?
Romantic comedy.
But of your romantic comedies, which is your favourite?
Something's Got to Give.
Ah,
With Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. Love it.
great film.
Super film.
Is that one where she's a writer in that great beach house?
Yes.
Great film. When was the last time you cried? Was it happy or sad?
It was sad and was very recent.
Can we keep it to yourself?
No, I can share it. So there's this lovely lady in my area whose miniature Italian greyhound went missing, actually miniature whippet. And Benny is his name, and he's been missing since July. And he's so scared of people, so he's obviously been hiding, and it's traumatic. And as a dog owner, I can't even imagine going through that. So it did bring a big tear to my eye when I spoke with her last week. Yeah, it was very sad indeed.
Fly to the moon or swim the oceans whenever you want to?
Swim the oceans whenever I want to.
Do you have a tattoo?
No.
No stamp duty or no inheritance tax?
No inheritance tax.
Why?
I think it's very unfair to have to pay on tax on something that your parents or your partner has worked so hard on, and you are then expected to give some of that away. I think it's just wrong. It's wrong.
Christmas Eve, Christmas Day or New Year's Eve?
Christmas Eve.
lobster or steak?
Lobster. No, I don't either. Adrian,
You don't eat lobster?
I don't.
I've learned something. Well, actually, I learned that you haven't got a tattoo, but that's by the by. But you don't like lobster?
I don't eat meat.
I thought you eat seafood.
Some salmon now and then, and trout.
Okay. If you could play one song right now, what would it be?
What comes to mind immediately? Wicked Game.
Chris Isaac.
Yes.
Was it on the radio in the car as you came?
No, it's one of my
Just-
all-time favourites, but I'm just thinking that
Just
this
in your head.
questionnaire thing they'll be doing at the moment feels like quite a wicked game. I'm kidding.
Ah,
This has reminded me
that is a great one.
of that song.
You said Squid Games, that would have been sort of more in vogue and probably a bit more extreme. You can invite one famous dead person to spend a day with. Who would it be?
Give me a second. It's happening. Oh my goodness, tip of my tongue. Oh, I'm thinking. Give me a minute. I can't remember their name, but the next person would definitely be the Queen.
Interesting.
I'd want to understand how she would feel about certain things when she'd have to make certain decisions and etc. etc.
Because nobody really ever interviewed her.
No, and
Really?
she was, I
Apart
mean,
from
it
Paddington.
must have been the most, yes, except for lovely Paddington. And I think that she was an extraordinary woman, and there was a lot of decisions she had to make, which was tough. And the public, obviously, were not allowed to know about those things. But what she must have gone through behind closed doors during tough times must have been quite awful for her at times.
Would you sell your story?
No.
Good. Good answer. If you could never see or hear one of these things again, what would it be? The moon, the stars, or birdsong?
The stars.
You'd save the stars amongst anything else, so you'd never hear birdsong.
No, sorry,
again.
I thought you meant which one. Sorry, no. I would save birdsong, obviously.
Can you remember the first song that really made you fall in love with music or had a really emotional connection?
Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. Believe it or not.
You're allowed duplicate answers. So we're
Why,
not?
thank you.
Yeah, hopefully I haven't
Don't
got
know
anything
why.
down here.
I don't know
Who's
what
your
it is about
favourite
that
male
song.
guitarist?
I just don't know what it is about that song, but it's really... You know when songs remind you of a day and a colour and a scent and a food? Well, yeah.
You have your own private chef at your house. I know this isn't the case, but you know, we're living in dream
We'll
world
get
here.
there.
You have your own private chef at your home who is going to cook you breakfast, lunch and dinner. What
That's
do
a
you
lot of
ask
food.
the chef to cook for you?
Well, in the morning, I would absolutely love to have a healthy fruit salad, which I could probably make myself, a fruit salad with some of my lovely nutritious supplements lined up, so I don't forget to take them. For lunch,
So you're basically giving your private chef the morning off.
basically, because I'm a lovely person, come and do yoga with me and all sorts. And then for lunchtime, I wouldn't mind to have something nutritious, delicious and filling. What would that be? I don't know. Golly,
So would you, with
I
your
get bored
chef,
very quickly.
say to your chef, rather than I want this, 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 you'd say, for lunch, I want something that is broadly these
That's
things.
That's it. And
Surprise me.
if I'm having a bad day, I'll say I'm having a bad day, and that chef will know she needs comfort food.
Chips.
Chips. Is chips a comfort food for you?
Not very often, to be honest.
Oh.
It's more of a regular supplement to my diet. I have 3 favourite Christmas movies, depending on my mood. Holiday is my rom-com. Elf, just because it makes me laugh. And It's a Wonderful Life, because it's just the most uplifting and it stays with you. You've only got time to watch one of them with me.
Alf.
Why?
I love Will Ferrell. He's hilarious.
So you're just going to ditch my love of It's a Wonderful
Sorry,
Life.
absolutely.
But it's going to be a fun afternoon instead of being too serious about it. Yeah, I like that. If I offered you £1 million or £5,000 every week for the rest of your life, what would you do?
The latter, £5,000 for the rest of
Every
my
week
life,
for
every
the rest of
week.
your life? Oh, stay working with me then. In your dreams, yes. If there was one change you could make to the property market, what would it be?
To enforce a law that every single vendor needs to have their property surveyed before it comes to the market by a surveyor of our recommendation.
Or government recommendation or
Correct.
affiliate. Yeah, so go
Correct.
back to what we should have heard, which was all
Yes.
kicked out.
Yes.
Victorian cottage or high-tech penthouse apartment?
Victorian cottage.
Caribbean sunshine or North Cornwall beach?
North Cornwall beach.
Ketchup or brown sauce?
Ketchup.
Why?
I'd like ketchup. I don't like brown sauce. That's why. Simple.
Good answer. You've justified it. Fair enough. I only have... Oh, no, it's not about me. I can't tell you anything about me, can I?
No.
You can bring one famous person back from the dead to spend a whole week with. Who would it be?
I know I'm going to remember this when I get in the car on the way home. Oh, good lordy. That's a tough one. No, I'm thinking. Sorry, hang on a minute. I don't know. I would have said Jim Morrison.
Good call. Interesting.
He was...
But Jim Morrison, not John Lennon.
John Lennon's nice, but he's boring in comparison to Jim Morrison.
Quote of the interview, John Lennon is boring. Ouch.
No disrespect meant to John
Sorry,
Lennon
Yoko,
fans.
if you're listening. I know she is actually. She subscribes. A client is going to treat you to a night out. You've done a brilliant job and treating you to a night out. And you've been offered the chance to go to a heavyweight boxing match or the darts. Do you accept? And if so, which one do you go to?
Oh, Adrian. Oh, dear. I would say darts.
Looks like I better cancel those heavyweight boxing tickets. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Whiskey or red wine?
Red wine. I love red wine.
Do you not like whiskey?
I love whiskey. But you've got to be in a mood for whiskey, and it's got to be a certain type of whiskey, only the best.
What sort of whiskey do you think is the best?
Penderyn.
Penderyn.
It's a Welsh
the
whiskey, which is now protected, just like Welsh lamb is.
Interesting. Well, Candice, I could keep asking you lots more questions, but I think I'd much rather do this again and go on to page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being straightforward. Great answers. I'm going to listen to them back. Could you think of another question that perhaps you could answer with the words Chris Isaac?
No. I could say San Francisco days, San Francisco nights. I don't know. You've got me there,
But
Adrian.
you can think of another question. I will try and think of
I can think of another question.
I'm going to try and think of a question next time where you could give me the answer.
Okay.
Chris Isaac. Maybe if he dies, and I wouldn't wish that on him, he could be the person that you bring back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What musical instrument would you play if you could, by the way?
The cello.
The cello. That's obscure.
Why would you say that?
Just can't imagine you carting it around the tube, sort of trying to busk for money when your property career hits this.
There's a pond. There's a pond down the road where I live, Adrian. We'll be taking you for a walk down to the pond later on.
So you can play me some cello music. Candice, thank you very much. I have learnt quite a lot about you, but in a trivial way. But it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you for humouring me.
Yeah, no, and maybe I'll let you ask me the same questions.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yes,
When can I do that?
You've got a whole year to think about it. We'll do it as next year's Christmas
No,
special.
buddy, it's not going to be that long.
Okay. Easter?
No, sooner.
Okay, it's up to you. All you need to do is get me to the login lounge and ask me questions. But thank you very much.
I look forward to it.
Hi, I'm Dee Shepherd from SMJ Media Group. If you like what we do and if you enjoyed what you heard today, then please do continue to support us. Support us in our conversations, in our events, in our communication, and how we publish and how we promote all local businesses. So, how do you do that? Well, you can buy me a coffee. Where? buymeacoffee.com/SMJ Media Group.